Hey everybody, in today's video or series of Back to the Basics, one of the things that I want to talk about is appointment reminders. Now, why is it important to have important reminders? I talk to some agents that have no appointment reminders at all. Like they just set the appointment and hopefully those people show up, right? And then I have some people that do appointment reminders, but they don't want to do them within like 24 hours because maybe that person might cancel or something like that. So there's kind of a little bit of conflicting information I feel like floating out there. So I just wanted to jump on and really talk about that. I mean, if you really think about it in today's market, at least, everybody's busy, right? I mean, prior to COVID, I mean, people were even busier, but now that we're all kind of getting back to normal, people are still busy, right? People got jobs, they've got work, they've got soccer practice, they've got all sorts of stuff. And you being a life insurance agent, you are just not on the top of their priority list, right? That's just the facts, right? You are literally at the bottom of their list, right? They're like, hey, this guy's trying to come out and sell me something. Nah, I'm not even gonna, I'm not gonna be there. I'm just gonna ghost him, right? The same thing happens when you get porched, you get dark house, whatever you want to call it. They're just not there. And one of the things that I think helps a ton, and personally with all my show ups, with agents that we work with students that we work with pretty much everybody. I mean, if you set an appointment with somebody, right, like right now, you go to your doctor and you're like, hey doctor, I got to come in on Thursday at 2 o'clock to whatever the reason is, right? They're going to call you, they're going to text you, they're going to email you multiple times to make sure that you show up. Why? Because the doctor values his time just like you should value your time, right? I talked to a gentleman the other day that was like, I'm not going to go ahead and I don't want to confirm any of my appointments because then they might not show up. And I'm like, well, if they're not going to show up, they're not going to show up. Period, right? Like, why would you go drive 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes? Why would you leave your house to go to somebody else's house and they're not there? Or why would you jump on your computer to do a Zoom call with somebody and they're not there? Like, why not just confirm now and get it out of the way so that way at least you can block that time out to do something else? So one of the things I wanted to show you here in our system, under our campaigns, we have multiple different types of appointment reminder campaigns, all for all sorts of different things, right? That we send, and we kind of customize a little bit because if you're gonna go out to somebody's house, it's gonna be totally different, right? You want to confirm where you're actually going, right? Just hey, I'm coming over, right? Well, if you're doing a Zoom call because you're selling virtually, like a lot of us do now, then you want to make sure the Zoom link is included, right? So one of the things that I suggest everybody does, and we set this up automatically for any of our students or clients, are appointment reminders. So you book a call in your calendar, whether you're going to them or you're going to go see them on Zoom, doesn't matter. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to send them an appointment confirmation and say, hey, Joe, hey, Mary, guess what? You booked an appointment Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Thanks. Here's the information, right? And then we're going to start following up with them. Some people will, like with life insurance, it's a little bit different to, maybe send information prior to, but it is always good. Maybe send testimonials of other clients that have worked with you. That's always good. You can't really do that in financial services like with AUM and stuff, but life insurance, you definitely can. But what we want to do is we want to follow up with them right when they book the call so they get a confirmation. Hey, this is booked. We are both putting it on our calendar, right? My calendar and your calendar. Because here's the thing, most people don't run on a calendar. I mean, that's just simple facts. Like we might run on a calendar as salespeople because we're trying to make money, but a lot of people, the general public, they don't use calendars, right? They know they got to go to work from 9 to 5, and hopefully they take Johnny to practice and remember at 5:30, right? That's basically how most people run. So for you to be on their calendar, it's not even in their head. So you need to make sure that we send a confirmation just saying, hey, this is when the call is, or this is when I'm showing up to your house. Thanks a lot, right? The next time we want to follow up with them, some people will differ on this, but we always follow up as soon as we book the call, 24 hours before the call, 1 hour before the call, and if you're going to do a virtual appointment, 15 minutes before the call. It's not usually necessary for you to do it if you're going to somebody's house. So if you're going to go to somebody's house and you send them a reminder an hour out, you usually don't have to worry about them leaving their house and forgetting that you're going to show up, right? But if you're doing a Zoom call, because they're not coming over, they're not like, okay, man, I got to maybe clean up the house or something, then you might want to send them something 15 minutes. Why? Because if they get a text message or an email, right, an hour beforehand, and then they get busy, and then they just forget about you, well, then they're not going to show up to the Zoom call, right? So it's always good to do it 15 minutes because it's harder for them to forget 15 minutes before the appointment than it is if you're going to show up to their house. So this is the kind of stuff that we set up for a lot of our students and clients because people just don't use it. Like if there's a system that will automatically do it for you, why wouldn't you be using it? I don't care if you use us, if you use somebody else, use Calendly, Schedule Once, they all do the same type of thing, but you need to make sure that if you're setting appointments and you're going out there to make money, you value your time enough to be like, hey, I'm coming over, or hey, here's a Zoom call, here's the Zoom link, make sure that you're on the call so that way we don't waste each other's time. There should be some mutual respect here, even if you're the sales guy, that they're going to show up to the call. If they said so, then they're there. And that's kind of the downfall with a lot of our society these days. I'm not going to get into too much preaching, but if you shake somebody's hand, that should be good enough. If you give somebody your word, that should be good enough. There shouldn't be all this dicker and dealing where it's like, oh, well, I booked an appointment with you, but maybe I won't show up. Well, then just cancel the darn thing. And that's what we want to have them do. I would rather have somebody just cancel the appointment. I'm not going to go waste my time driving to their house or getting on my computer. I'll be doing something else that's a lot more productive and will make me money than driving around or waiting for somebody because they didn't have the decency to put it on their calendar, and you as a salesperson didn't have the decency to make sure that I did have it, because we just need to understand who we're dealing with. If they don't run on a calendar, then you better remind them, right? So I know I'm a little heated up and they're like, oh, wow, he's a little intense about this, but it's such a crucial part in the sales piece that when I talk to agents every 30 minutes, every single day, 5 days a week. And 9 out of 10, I would probably say 9.5 out of 10 agents don't do this. And then they wonder why they drive 2 hours and Joe and Mary weren't at their house. You didn't remind them, right? They've got other stuff and you're at the bottom of the totem pole. So anyways, if you have any questions on how to set this up, doesn't have to be through our system. There's a whole bunch of options out there. DM me, comment below, and we will see you in the next Back to the Basics with Richard.